Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Match number 3 gearing up to get underway. We have Optic Nation, who won their first series last night, going up against Envious, who took Optic Gaming to Game 5, Round 11, and fell just short. Maven, I got the news from our admins. They vetoed Looney's host for Envy. Envy will not be able to have Looney hosting, and no Moach host for Optic Nation.
All right. I wonder who are going to be the two that they're going to end up choosing. But this one, I mean, I casted the Optic match. They looked really, Envy looked really, really strong against them. Really, it came down to they kind of threw away that hard point drift game. I think they were up like 100 points or something like that through the first side, kind of threw that one away. But Envy so far, I think, looking pretty strong. I haven't had too much time to watch ON, at least online in this season, but I know I've liked their play since adding Mochilla.
You know, I was reading the chat earlier, and people were saying, oh my god, Zuma, I can't believe we found a player who flanks more than you do. And they were referring to Looney. So I'm excited to watch Looney tonight. Okay. It seems like with the new dynamic, you know, adding Octane, JCap to this roster, Looney's had a little bit of room to just do whatever he wants to. So I want to see what is his play style, especially in this first hard point. It's going to be on retreat. And when I look over at this Optic Nation squad, I know what I'm getting out of Moach, but I would consider even giving host to Miracles if I'm Nation right now. You got Bose, you got Ricky there in Chicago, but you try and go for the move and give Miracles the host all the way out there in Las Vegas.
I think I would want to keep it Chicago, I think. But, I mean, ultimately, I think you probably want Moach hosting it, at least in this one, just because this can be a very... If you get one of your ARs really going off, you can dominate the hard point.
So he can't host.
Yeah, I know. That's what I was saying. Ultimately, you'd want him, but since they can't, I think they'll probably take the Chicago base. So we need to see if Bose can go big. Ricky too, though, if he can really get rolling with the AR as well. We've seen him drop those 40 to 50 bombs when he's playing hard point. It'll be interesting to see. But I'm looking for Ricky to go off in this one personally. It's
been interesting. When I watched this Optic Nation squad in Uplink, for example, you see Bose and Ricky, at least at relegation on LAN, they weren't expected to get much more than 20, 25 kills. It was all kind of let Miracles and Moach slay the whole way. When I was watching it this week from their Uplink earlier yesterday, Mbose led the squad with 29 kills at the time. So I'm wondering, what is kind of the dynamic here? Have they gone to just using Ricky purely as kind of the ball boy, the man running the objective? What's the strategy being employed by Optic Nation?
I like ball boy. Ball boy more than man running the objective, Chris.
Yeah, and then on the other end, it's like, what is the game plan for Envy here? I honestly am excited about this squad. If they're able to take Optic Gaming to round 11 on just day 1, teaming together with this squad in the Pro League, what are they going to be able to do down the line throughout the season? A big match for both teams. Envy looking for their first win. Optic Nation looking to meet the other teams at the top at 2-0.
I think I like this Envy team a lot. I really do. Just because this game, I mean, has become so much about your dominant slayers, kind of the young talent, those that you know, you've seen some of the older players kind of struggle to deal with the movement, the verticality of it. You know, you've seen some guys fall behind, and this has become kind of a young player's game to a degree, at least. You've had so many. It just feels to me like there's been so many more up-and-coming young players in this title compared to previous ones.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it just has to do with the speed of the game and the fact that it's become so heavy on getting the slaying in. And that's why I think, you know, having Octane, having Looney, and having Aqua on a squad. I mean, JCap can get it done, sure, but, you know, I kind of look at him more of like the veteran leader of the team.
Definitely.
Those three are all young players that can just, at any point, drop 40 to 50 kills and really keep up with the slaying of other squads. So, I think Envy is going to be a fun team to watch throughout this season.
I'm excited. You just saw a look at this roster here. Octane, JCap, Aqua, and Looney. Of course, JCap, he beat Aqua in the World Championship there, taking home $400,000 for his effort. Aqua, though, that was his breakout tournament. We heard about TR, but that's really where he shined. Got a little bit of flack for the way he played at the relegation tournament, but I'm expecting him to go back to his usual self as one of the most dominant SMGs in the game right now.
Well, that's what is kind of funny to watch. We'll see. This was the particular map in which he took a lot of flack. I mean, he put up a ton of kills, but Octane's the guy that looks over the hard point. He's not supposed to really spend much time in it. Aqua is, and that's what he was taking a bit of flack for. But let's see how things kick off here, as Cap and Aqua are going to be headshot pretty much immediately. Early control here is going to go to Optic. We'll see what they can get rolling right now, but I need a big game out of Ricky here.
Ricky is really the most selfless player, I think, on this squad. He's also kind of an in-game leader when the rest of the crew gets quiet. You see him opening up very strong, 3-0, already helping Optic Nation get 22+ points on this first hard point. A fantastic start for ON. Keep in mind, this is Envy's host for game number 1.
Oh yeah, this would be a huge deal. Again, game 1 just being the momentum builder here. Taking that is massive. When you take it off host, it can be a series winner, really. But we do see, I was watching Moch line a couple up. He was able to pick him up at the second Turtle Hill. Now you see a spawn out. They spawn so far. You'll see Optic Nation having to come cross-map here to get into the action.
Embos is doing such a phenomenal job to stay alive. Moch comes in, Miracles gets a kill. That was all set up by Embos. Staying alive, he was the distraction. Great cover fire, as even though Optic Nation, as you mentioned, got those spawns out, able to capitalize on a big play. Keeping this one pretty much in their favor until Octane got that nasty 2-piece. Let's go over to him. He's on a 3 spree, 9-3 to open up this game, and he's currently running with the ASM-1.
Yeah, this is the stuff you expect to get out of Octane. He can get big kills. Doesn't really matter the weapon. Prefers the bow, but just a young Slayer having a hot start here at 9-4. We've got 10 seconds left in this hard point before we rotate over. Who's that in early? It's not Miracles. Who do I have highlighted? Oh, yes, it is Miracles. Miracles in very early. He's going to be set up here, but gets melted pretty much immediately there by Octane.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, prefers the bow. I saw him with the ASM-1 for just a second earlier. Put it back in his back pocket. He'll be sticking with that AR throughout the game. Let's go over to Looney here. Looney trying to charge in. I'd love to stay on board with him through a life or two. What do you like about Looney? He's the only member from Envy's lineup who's returning from Season 2 into Season 3.
I just love Looney. I mean, I really love everything about him when it comes to as a person, seriously, as a player. He's a phenomenal uplink player. He can get it done in S&D with the snipe or the bow. He can run an ASM-1. He can slay efficiently. He's one of those guys that get in the zone. You kind of let him do his own thing, and he can put up big numbers. I just see him as a very versatile Slayer. He can really get it done with any weapon. I mean, I haven't really seen him be weak with anything in particular. Just a guy that can fill a role on just about any team.
You said you needed to see a big game out of Ricky. Well, he's currently double positive with a 4 streak rolling, 13-7 after that.
Attaboy there, Rick.
Moch on the other end is trying to pinch at bar. Miracles on the opposite side. I like this pinch that you're seeing out of Optic Nation on the mini-map. They're flooding from opposite directions, and they're just swarming in on Envy. They're pulling away on the scoreboard as well. Almost 3 times their opponent's score with 6:40 still to go. They're already at 93 points.
Yeah, this is a really game one performance. Now, we're 100% sure this is Envy's host. We're positive?
100%.
All right, well, whoever it is, I mean, Aqua right now and JCap really struggling to keep pace. You see Aqua at 5-17. I mean, he has those games from time to time because he plays really aggressive. I like to see him when he plays a little more patiently, kind of waits for players to fly by. We've talked about how he can get those easy kills. Right now, it doesn't look like he can buy a kill, as he's 6-18 and struggling. ON continuing to push the lead. Like you said, Ricky doing well. Moch at 17-12. They vetoed his host. He doesn't care at all, as he's having a big one as well.
Going over to Aqua. Aqua charges up, puts some shots in a teammate. Wasn't able to take out his opponent. Moch and Ricky in your kill feed once again. And Ricky's got all of poolside locked down while his teammates deal with the action inside. And here comes Ricky on the transition. His bow has been on point, so has Bo's. I would assume that these two will be given host, just judging by game number 1. 18-11, 18-12, and Moch now is pulling away, as you mentioned, 20-14, the first one to hit 20.
Yep, Moch putting up a big one. I'm watching him right now just to see. He should be pushed from his left here, trying to pick up that cut. Not going to be able to get it. We are going to hit our second set of rotations here in about 20 seconds. Is everyone here battling it out up top, trying to get control. You see Looney flying in. He's going to get picked off from the stairs.
Aqua just heated up right there. There's the 3-piece, and the last one, nothing but headshots. Let's go over to the man. As you mentioned, Started just with 5 kills. He's now on a 4 streak at 13 and 21. Has to take his game to the next level. You're down by double. Your opponent has total control. How do you get back in it right now if you're Envy?
Well, this second side, I mean, really, they just started out really, really slow as Aqua and JCap. Again, I think they're both about, what, triple negative, just not keeping up with the gunfights at all. You saw a really strong start on the other side by Ricky and Moch. They just had to, I don't want to say it's like get warmed up, but just kind of get rolling, start winning some gunfights. You'll start seeing yourself get a lot more time here. But it really started off the rip. I mean, they got dominated in that first central hard point as well, Chris.
Embos is drop shotting people. Everything is rolling. Ricky has slowed down, 18 and 10 earlier. That's 6 straight deaths for him. But the slack being picked up by Embos, and he's getting it done with the ASM-1 now. Here's a chance for Looney to pick up the final 10 seconds. As I say that, it looks like Nation is going to be fighting for every single point. No real rotations going down quite yet. We'll see, though, who is going to be the first to set up. It looks like Nation now in those power positions.
Yeah, they've got a couple players down below. I think it's going to be Moch that was set up. Player comes over wall. It was Looney. Got a nice 2-piece to push that out. But really, I mean, it all came down just the start of this game. I mean, think about that one time where you had Bows at Turtle halfway through that hard point. They push, Envy pushes. They force 3 players to spawn out, and Bows survives for like the entire 20 seconds it takes for them to get across the map. Things just had not been going the Envy's way through the course of the first half. But let's see if they can start rolling back. They're down about 100 points now. They still got plenty of time to work with. But you see Ricky at the backside of the hard point. You got Miracle's top pool wall's going to drop. They just keep adding to this lead, Chris.
Watching Looney for the moment, down 100 points. This game is getting out of hand. Aqua has turned up. He's now 21 and 8. Octane continuing to go positive, but you have got nothing out of JCap other than his 6 captures. He just hasn't been able to hold at all. And I think that has really been kind of the weakness from this Envy squad. They're getting outslayed, they're getting out-rotated, out-positioned at the moment. JCap trying to hold down Pool, picks up 2 nice kills, looking for a third in the back as his teammates are picking up some time. They're cutting that lead down. The question is, can they bring it all the way back with just 2:30 left?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot less pressure on a team to rotate early, at least for most tills in this game, compared to something like Black Ops 2 Hardpoint. But Optic was rotating first. They were also winning the gunfights as well, which allowed them to hop out to a big early lead. But you do see Envy starting to roll back. They're getting some time here, Chris. They're climbing back.
I'm calling the comeback. We're going to see a tie score at least.
You're calling a tie score? Oh, Chris, I did not know they allowed you to start drinking over there this early in New York.
They do, actually. It's incredible. You should move here one day.
You see the kill feed? They've was filled with Redford. The time being a Moch able to answer with 2. Bows shot 1,500 bullets into a rock, not able to win that kill. And you see that lower spawn. They've got it controlled. They've got the hard point. They're down 60 seconds. They've got to really get this entire thing almost, Chris. And we've seen it happen on this particular hard point, but Miracles comes in with a nice flank. Miracles ended up getting 2, and that might actually be the dagger.
I'm telling the comeback story, man. I'm not giving up on Aqua. Probably should give up on Aqua right there. All right, you're right. All right, Nation should be able to lock this one up. Props to Envy for being able to make it a little bit closer in the second side, but this was all Nation from the start. I mean, opening up 22 unanswered points in your first hard point.
Well, it was kind of a tale of 2 halves for Optic as well, because I think it was Ricky and Moch that really led the first side, and then Bows and Miracles really went strong the second side. I mean, at one point, I think Ricky and Moch were both positive 8 or so, positive 10. Miracles and Bows really came alive once they all got firing. I mean, there wasn't a lot that Envy could do. And this is a big Game 1 win, because like you said, this is Envy's host, Game 1 hardpoint. In my opinion, in a best of 5 in the online league, you've got to win Game 1 hardpoint if you're hosting it.
And you're going to see it come down to the last 40 seconds. Octane drops his 40 bomb. Trying to pad the stats as we go to the end.
He's just shredding.
And it's got to be a bit frustrating when you're playing this well, but you can't get anything going. 14 captures as well from Aqua. Look at the rest of the captures across the board. No one has been as active on the hard point.
The one thing that Aqua was taking a little bit of flack from was, you know, it was a big game. They get big games from Octane. He'd put up the slang. He'd sit there. He would watch his spots. He would do his job. And you would get Aqua going in. He would break the hard point, but then he was, you know, running through it, pushing out. I mean, his job, he needs to be in the hard point. That's going to be ultimately where he's going to spend most of his time, is breaking the hard point, defending the hard point. You know, I didn't pay close enough attention to that game to see if, you know, he wasn't doing that. I don't think that was the case. Is really the only person that kept up remotely on the scoreboard is going to be Octane. Everyone else kind of got destroyed, and he had a really slow start there from JCap. He picked it up a bit, but when you're starting 6-18 and you're trailing by 100 early on, it's hard to get back in the swing of things.
Big games from Optic Nation here off host. Game 1, hardpoint retreat victory. Moch, Ricky showing off the ARs early on, and then Miracles and Embos, as you mentioned, taking over side number 2. Embos was using the bow for quite a bit when I was watching him as well. So that's something that I'm going to be keeping an eye on throughout the remainder of this series. 3 bows, 1 SMG. Seemed to work at least on retreat for them. Coming up next, though, we're switching over to Optic Nation's host, the map Recovery, as we go back for Search and Destroy. We'll be right back.